The other day, I was driving home from Appalachian Trail Days in Damascus, Virginia, which is the largest hiking festival in the whole entire country. It's to celebrate the Thru Hiking community and the Appalachian Trail. And it got me wondering, why do people choose to thru hike? I mean, about 3,000 people choose to thru hike over 2,000 miles every single year on the Appalachian Trail. That's a lot of people, and that's just the Appalachian Trail. There's two other large thru hiking trails in the country, the CDT and the PCT, and tons of people try to do those trails as well. And as I was thinking about that, it got me wondering, where did thru hiking come from? Why is it a thing? Where did it start? And how did it turn into this huge celebrated lifestyle and this massive community? So when I got home, I started to dig into this question, and this is what I found. In the late 1800s, there was an idea to start preserving nature and land for public enjoyment and recreation, starting with the famous Yellowstone National Park. And about 40 years after this, a man named James P. Taylor had a vision for the first long-distance hiking trail. And therefore, in 1910, the Long Trail was established, and by 1930, it expanded from Massachusetts all the way to the Canadian border. It quickly became a goal to hike the whole 270 miles all the way through. I was lucky enough to hike part of the Long Trail last year when me and my brother decided to climb up to the top of Mount Mansfield, which is the tallest mountain in Vermont. The landscape was absolutely amazing. Even though it was hazy due to the Canadian wildfires that took place in 2023, it's no wonder that the trail grew in popularity. In 1927, these three women were the first ever women to complete the entire trail top to bottom without any assistance from men, and are known as the Three Musketeers. They are somewhat regarded as some of the first ever documented people to hike the entire trail. Hiking has always kind of been a thing. I mean, after all, it is just walking. Us humans have been walking long distances for as long as we've been around, mainly for hunting and gathering purposes. But in the Renaissance period, there was a spike in people just walking to explore. And in the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution led to urbanization, prompting a desire to escape the cities and explore the countryside. Hiking clubs and organizations soon began to form, and hiking became a very popular activity. After the Long Trail was created in 1910, people began to have ideas of starting other long-distance hiking trails, and one of those people was Benton MacKaye. MacKaye was born in 1879 in Stamford, Connecticut, and he always loved the outdoors and nature, and he actually worked for the U.S. Forest Service and the U.S. Department of Labor. He was deeply involved in land use planning and conservation efforts, and he believed in the sustainable use of natural resources and the preservation of wilderness areas. In 1921, MacKaye published an article titled An Appalachian Trail, a project in regional planning. In the article, he outlined his vision for the long-distance hiking trail running along the Appalachian Mountains, which would serve not only as a recreational path, but also a means to promote conservation and regional planning. In 1925, MacKaye's vision led to the formation of the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. And over the following years, the trail was slowly constructed and was completed in 1937. The Appalachian Trail spans 2,190 miles, running from Georgia all the way to Maine. It actually overlaps the Long Trail for about 100 miles in southern Vermont until it turns and goes into New Hampshire. Luckily, I am able to get out here on the Appalachian Trail on a somewhat regular basis. I'm out here in Grayson Highlands State Park, which is one of the highlights of the whole entire Appalachian Trail. Grayson Highlands is pretty large. It's 4,500 acres of meadows and hills and mountains, and one of the highlights that make up Grayson Highlands is the wild horses, or the wild ponies. This is honestly one of the best places on the Appalachian Trail, and I can definitely see why it is a highlight. It is just absolutely beautiful. So many amazing views. There's so many vistas with 360-degree views around here, and the wildlife is amazing. I mean, look at this. This is just one of the many 360-degree views out here in Grayson Highlands. I am heading up there. That is the top of Wilburn Ridge, which is where the Appalachian Trail actually is. It runs all the way on that ridge line over here to the top of that. So like I said, the Grayson Highlands State Park is around 4,500 acres big, but that is not all of the Mount Rogers recreational area. The Mount Rogers recreational area is almost 200,000 acres big. And the Appalachian Trail actually comes outside of the park to go up to Wilburn Ridge, which is where we're heading. And Wilburn Ridge, the place that we're heading to right now, is actually outside of the state park and inside of Jefferson National Forest. But the wild ponies roam all throughout the state park and Jefferson National Forest and the whole Mount Rogers recreational area. There's about 150 total ponies out here, and they're semi-wild ponies. They are tracked and they are monitored, but they are still semi-wild. Here's a wild pony right here. Now, these wild ponies were actually introduced here in, I believe, like the 1940s, and they were brought here to kind of help the landscape here. They graze these fields and they keep the weeds down, and I believe it was to help farming, because farming was big up here and logging was big up here. So these guys helped manage the prairies. All right, there it is, our first white blaze. So that means that we are officially on the Appalachian Trail. We just left the state park. We're now entering Jefferson National Forest, making our climb up to the top of Wilburn Ridge. If you head that way on the AT, you will go all the way to the southern terminus, Springer Mountain, Georgia. And if you go this way for a good minute, you're gonna end up at Katahdin in Maine. So I've actually went off of the Appalachian Trail for just a second, and I'm on this little blue blaze trail that comes up to this little rocky outcropping. You see behind me, this is Mount Rogers, this little hump in the distance there. That is actually the tallest mountain in Virginia, and the Appalachian Trail goes all the way over to there and skirts around the bottom of it. One of the wildest things to me that I've been thinking about while I've been hiking up to this point is just how, man, if Benton McKay didn't make the Appalachian Trail a thing, if he didn't write that article and this trail was never made, we might not have ever gotten views as easy to access as this. I wonder if this state park and this landscape would be the same without the Appalachian Trail. 11 years after the completion of the Appalachian Trail, a man named Earl Schaefer completed the entirety of the trail. Schaefer wanted to, quote, walk off the war. So in April 1948, he left his hometown in Pennsylvania and headed to the southern end of the trail in Georgia. When he first told people about what he wanted to attempt, they didn't believe him, but that didn't stop Schaefer. After hiking for 124 days, he reached the northern end of the trail in Maine. Earl Schaefer is known as the first ever thru hiker, and his pioneering journey established the concept of hiking the entire Appalachian Trail. The Appalachian Trail has inspired the creation of so many other long-distance trails, including the Pacific Crest Trail and the Continental Divide Trail. Thru hiking is now a very popular activity, and the challenge of hiking a long-distance trail from one end to the other has spread all over the world. Nowadays, over 3,000 people attempt to hike the AT every year, and only about 25% actually complete the entire trail. Thru hiking is definitely a challenge, and it's not for everyone. On the Appalachian Trail specifically, most people take 5 to 7 months to complete the entire trail. Sleeping in tents or hostels along the trail every night, eating freeze-dried meals and ramen, and carrying 20 pounds on your back every day in all weather conditions is definitely not easy. So what makes people want to hike the Appalachian Trail? Luckily, I was able to talk to some thru hikers on the trail, and I asked them why they decided to attempt to hike 2,190 miles.
I'm Slowpoke.
Hi, I'm Chi.
My name's Louie.
I'm not quite sure what got me out here. I was kind of lost in life, and I came out here to try to find my way, I guess.
My boyfriend showed me the Catskills, so we spent a little over a week on the Catskills, and I was like, I think I could do the whole thing.
I decided to hike the Appalachian Trail because I like to go backpacking, and 2 years ago I was actually camping like the 100 feet up that way, and I had a really good time on the AT. That was the first time I was on the AT, and I was like, got the idea that I'm gonna try to do the whole thing.
How has thru hiking changed your life?
Oh man.
I feel like a deep connection with my grandma. I'm actually wearing her dress. This was my grandma's dress. I did spread her ashes out here, and I'm paying homage to her. Yeah, I also have the original Boy Scout canteen, a Palco. It's been patched up quite a bit. And I got these shoes for $5 at a thrift store in Hiawassee. Thrifter's Paradise, made in USA.
One thing that's like really interesting is like I've become like more like emotional. Shit'll just like hit me and it'll make me like more emotional than like before. It definitely makes you like more grateful for like what you have. My mom is like doing a section with me. I saw my parents for the first time in like a month and a half yesterday. And like super grateful. Like I saw my girlfriend, like it was like a month, and then she came and visited me for my birthday. So like those times, just like super grateful for that versus like you kind of take it for granted when you're at home because you see them like all the time.
Well, there you have it. That is the video, guys. That is what thru hiking is. That's where thru hiking came from, the history of the Appalachian Trail. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and got some information out of it. Hopefully one day I'll be able to call myself a thru hiker. If I were to choose out of the AT, PCT, or CDT, I would definitely choose the AT just because I am connected to the Appalachian Trail in a lot of ways. And it just seems like the Appalachian Trail community is amazing. I'm so thankful for the 3 people that I got to talk to and put into this video. Thank you so much if you're watching this video. And yeah, I hope that you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out and live cosmic.